So, today we will learn about rectangular hyperbola and truncus. Rectangular hyperbola and truncus. Why we need to say rectangular hyperbola? So, rectangular hyperbola is y equals 1 on x, which if we graph this, when x will be very, very big, x going toward the infinity, when the denominator of the function will be very big, of the fraction, what will be value of fraction? Very small. So it will be coming here. Now, when we have x approaching 0, x will be very, very small. 1 divided by very, very small number will be very big number. So that's how the graph will look like. Now, and for negative numbers, we'll get the same thing. Will be ever y equals 0? No. Because for fraction to equal 0, we have to have numerator to be 0. And it's never equal 0. With the x cannot be 0 because it is in the denominator. So we have two asymptotes. We have two asymptotes, y equals 0 and x equals 0. You must, when you're sketching, you must show asymptotes as a dotted line and write its equation. First, is it always the case that graph cannot cross asymptote?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
it's not always the case. I'll show you the graph. For example, we have.
That's not true. That's the definition of one. According to Mr. V.
No. Look here. We can have graph looking like this.
Oh, it can cross.
It cross here, yes, but here it's approaching but never crossing.
Yeah. See?
So graph can cross asymptote. Graph can cross asymptote somewhere, but where it's approaching to it, that way it becomes an asymptote. Here, this line is not asymptote of this graph. Here it is. I can think about it. Now, why we must say rectangular hyperbola? Why we must say rectangular hyperbola? Because who will be learning specialist math next year, you will learn about not rectangular hyperbola, which I'll show you the example. For example, that is non-rectangular hyperbola. You don't need to know it's not a truncus, it's hyperbola, but not rectangular. It's not part of the methods course. This one, or it can be, for example, can be like this. Again, who will be learning specially? For that will be equation. Equation will be x minus a squared over h squared minus y minus k. Sorry, over h here. Sorry, usually it's h here and a here. My y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. That will be the equation. Again, don't worry about that. That you will be learning if you do.
What's the sign under the 1?
Equal.
Like I have
equal.
Don't
Don't worry about that. It's not. It's not rectangular. Hyperbola, but not rectangular. Now, so what is What is domain of the rectangular hyperbola?
It's x equals 1 over y.
What is the domain?
Oh.
Domain is a possible x values.
Zero.
Almost
X doesn't
Everything except 0. So
X is
all real numbers except 0. What are the range? What are the y values? Same thing. All real numbers except 0. Now, let's do some transformation with this hyperbola. First, let's start moving it. Without changing its shape, let's start moving it up, down, left, right. If we have y equal 1 on x minus 4,
It's moved 4
that will be
down.
vertical translation. Vertical translation.
Wouldn't it be horizontal because the y-intercept is negative 4? Wouldn't the y-intercept be negative 4?
They still will be never,
What do you mean? To find the y-intercept, you have to have x equals 0.
which we cannot because it's in the denominator.
That was
Vertical translation.
Yeah, so how do you goes up?
1 over 0 is.
Now,
Wait, no, it goes forward down.
what will happen? So, what we change? What we change? Do we change in the x values?
No.
No. What we do? We subtract 4 from each y values. So it all will goes down.
4.
It's going
The
down.
y is already.
That means the asymptote, horizontal asymptote now
Negative 4.
will be at y equal negative 4. But does vertical asymptote change? No, still x cannot be. So that will be x still equals 0. And this branch we can sketch. To sketch other branch, what we need to do to sketch this branch now?
You just put it in the next
X plus or minus something?
We need to find
1.
x-intercept. We will have x-intercept now.
Oh.
So we can take y equals 0, 1 on x minus 4 equals 0, 1 on x equals 4, x equals 1/4. So we will have the x-intercept now, 1/4, 0. Make sense?
Yeah.
So don't sketch hyperbola before calculating the intercept. Otherwise you might will have to erase it and draw it again. Find first the x-intercept, then sketch. Make sense?
Yes.
Now let's consider, no, if it will be instead of minus 4, will be plus 4, it all will go up. Now let's consider if we will be changing instead of x, we will change now y. Sorry, instead of changing y, we will change x. So let's do 1 over x minus 4. That will be horizontal translation. Horizontal translation for in which direction?
To the right.
To the right. Horizontal translation for right. Why it to the right? Strictly mathematically, we will see later on. But just doing some thinking. Now, to get the same y, we will need x4 bigger, because we're subtracting 4. That's why we need to make x bigger. That's why it's moving. For strictly mathematically, we will show that later on. So, will be horizontal asymptote change?
No.
No. So we still have y equals 0. But now vertical asymptote becomes x equals 4. X equals 4. this branch will be like this. Now, which intercept we will get now?
Y.
Y-intercept. We sub in Y, substitute x equals 0, and we will get what will be the Y-intercept.
Negative a quarter.
Y-intercept will be, so we have 0, negative 1/4, and that will be the graph 0, negative 1/4.
So really, so the equation of a hyperbola is y equals 1 over
Why
x
is it
minus
the
h
bottom?
plus
Not yet, because we can also stretch.
Why is it at the bottom?
because it's dilation.
Yes.
Why is it at the bottom? Why?
Oh, it's a over x minus h plus x.
What? But there's like this one.
We have,
What is
what
that?
happens, we take this graph
I think you just
and we move it 4 to the right. We move graph 4 to the right. Vertical asymptote was at 0. Now we move it 4 to the right. It's x equals 4. And now we can have x equals 0. Because when x equals 0, denominator does not equal 0. You can divide now by x equals 0, denominator is negative 4. So y value will be negative 1/4.
Yes.
Make sense?
Yep.
Now, let's do two transformations at the same time.
That's crazy.
So let's sketch the graph of y equal 1 over x minus 4 plus 2. What will be the equations of asymptote? What will be the horizontal asymptote?
Negative 1.
Guys, what will be the horizontal asymptote?
Negative half plus
We no horizontal asymptote. We have equal 0. We're moving it to up. So it is y equals 2. And we're moving it 4 to the right.
Yeah. I say
So we have x equals 4.
I said negative quarter plus 2.
Now, this we take this graph, we move it 2 up and 4 to the right. So the right branch will be here, it will not have intercept. But now the left branch might have both x and y intercept.
Wow.
It will. So let's find it. Let's take x equals 0. We get y equal negative a quarter plus 2. So it will be equal 7 on 4. 7 on 4. So that is here. We have 0, 7 on 4. To find the x-intercept, we take y equals 0. We get 1 on x minus 4 plus 2 equals 0. 1 on x minus 4 equals negative 2. So we have x minus 4 equals negative 1/2. And x will be equal 7 on 2. X equal 7 on 2. 7 on 2, 0. And that will be our hyperbola. Yes?
When there are no x and y intercepts, do we still have to find one point or no?
If there is no x or y intercept, I will say, generally saying yes, you need to find one point, yes.
What do you mean find us?
For example, you need to plot one point, for example,
Oh, like on this
just
one,
one random point.
like on that one there,
One,
on
one,
the
yeah.
top one, I need to just say.
Oh, one.
Yeah, okay.
No, on this one you don't need to.
Not the top one, because it's
No,
already.
in this case you don't have to.
No, because you already have.
But if here, if there is like no x, y intercept at all, then just put one point.
So you need a point on both sides, on both like ends.
One will be enough.
Will it specify on the test, like it will say, fine?
Okay, I will put it in this way. What I will be looking for, I will be looking for proper asymptotes and axis-intercepts, I will not be taking marks if you will not do that. I will not be taking marks if you will not put this point, but on the final 3-4 exam, to be safe, better to do that. Okay, now, what else we can do? We already moved hyperbola up, down, left, right. What else we can do?
Dilation.
Dilation and reflection. We can do reflection. And we can do reflection. Let's say y equal negative 1 on x. What I'm reflecting about which axis? What I'm changing, x or y? I put minus in front of the whole thing.
You just flip it forward.
Flip it around the x-axis.
Yes.
So that will be,
It's the same thing.
we flip it and we will get
It's not the same.
You're changing
Yeah,
it.
it's the same.
graph like
It's
this.
literally just flip.
You've got this.
No,
and you
they're
flip
both
In
that.
this
It's
case,
the same as flipping it
no,
forward.
for hyperbola, if this is reflection,
Those two graphs.
reflection in x-axis.
Yeah.
Y equal 1, the thing is to reflect in y we take x with the minus. But in this case there is no difference between those two.
Yeah.
So we will obtain exactly the same. That will be a reflection in y-axis. For hyperbola, if you reflect it like this, or you reflect it like this, you get the same result. For hyperbola, it's the same. But it's not always the same for all graphs. And dilation. What is dilation?
Just like squashing it.
When we either stretching or compressing or squashing this way or this way, how we do that? We need to multiply it by some number. So if we have to sketch a graph of y equal 2 over x, will it change asymptotes? No, it will not change asymptotes.
Change dilation.
It will be, but every y value will be multiplied by 2. So really we can see it if we put some numbers on the graph. So instead of point being 1, 1, the point will be now 1, 2.
What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Because we get every number, just multiply. It will be just steeper, just stretch from x-axis. So for hyperbola, it's not much changes.
So is the full equation then y equals a over x minus
And
a?
general equation will be y equal a over x minus h plus k. This is a general equation of the hyperbola. Yes?
How will we know the difference between negative a over x and 1 over an a over negative x? Like how? Like
There is
it
no
matters
there is
flipping it
no
along the
minus
x
a over x. It's exactly the same as a on the negative
But I
x.
thought you said that changes. Shut up! I thought you said that changes
Right,
flips along the x or the y.
But if
It
it's
doesn't really
hyperbola,
question.
you will get same result. Flipping it like this or like this. In other graphs, it will be a big difference, especially when we will learn square root. Now,
Happy birthday to Yasha.
Sorry,
Big
no, I'm
16.
gold.
no,
Ellie Walker, baby.
as
Address is 23 Grantley Drive.
very typical question for hyperbola.
I know where your house is.
Typical, guys, please listen. Let's consider the next question.
Yeah.
Let's consider the next example.
I've been there. I've been there.
Yeah.
If we have,
Yeah, we dropped something off this level.
Did you guys put like Trump, a letter from Trump or something?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
if you need it.
If you need to sketch the next graph, y equal 2x plus 3 over x plus 1.
Oh, that would be one to the
my
left. That would be
gosh.
one translation to the left.
Now, when it is in this form,
You have to get the x off the top.
you cannot do anything. You need to do some algebra with this graph.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Later on, when we will learn division of the algebraic expressions, we can just divide numerator by denominator. For now, let's rewrite numerator as 2x
Yes, I
plus 2 plus 1 over x plus 1.
I had the right idea.
Let's rewrite it like this.
Okay.
Next step,
Wait,
2
you are right.
x plus 2 plus 1 over, sorry, x plus 2, x plus 1
Yeah.
2 times
Oh my god, that's
plus 1. Why I'm doing that?
So you can get rid of the X.
Oh, wait,
So
no,
we
no.
get x
No, no,
plus
no.
1 over x plus 1. So we can split these into fractions. 2 times x plus 1 over x plus 1 plus 1 over x plus 1.
Oh my god.
And x plus 1 over x plus
So
1
it's
cancels out.
1 over X is 1 over X plus 1 plus 2.
So we get 2 plus 1 over x plus 1.
Which means it's shifted to the left by 1.
Now,
To the
I
right,
hope you have
and
my
shifted up by 2.
Saka, sit down. Sit down. I will take it from you later on.
Sorry.
So, what now? Can you see?
No, Leo.
Ellie, I was right.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Can you see what shape is that now?
But you
Yes.
weren't necessarily.
Yes, I can.
That is hyperbola. Now it's easy to sketch it. Let's sketch it. So we have, what will be the asymptotes?
Negative.
What will be the vertical asymptote?
Negative 1.
Vertical.
Negative 1.
X equals negative 1.
X.
Does everyone see that vertical asymptote will be x equals negative 1? X equals negative 1. What is the horizontal asymptote? Y equals 2.
Wow. That's actually cool.
And now we will have both x and y intercept, but on a different branches of the hyperbola. Let's find them. So x equals 0,
Calculation.
y will be equal.
I had the right idea.
What will be y equal when x equals 0? 3. Y equals 3. So we have x 0, y equals 3. And we can sketch this branch. Now we take y equals 0. Y equals 0. We get 2 plus 1 on x plus 1 equals 0. So we have 1 over x plus 1 equals negative 2. X plus 1 equals negative half. You see, I'm not moving it to 2. We can move it there, but we can flip both sides, whatever you prefer. So we get x equals negative 3 on 2. So x-intercept is, we have negative 3 on 2, 0. And we can sketch the second branch. Because what x, when x equals negative 1, what denominator equals? Can we have denominator 0? No. That's why. We cannot have x. That will be vertical. We'll have a function undefined. Okay, now, I told you, unfortunately, today we need to cover quite intense. I said tomorrow I will not be here. So, let's have a look into one more graph. Truncus.
Truncus.
It's the exact same thing.
I don't understand. Do you understand?
Top 20 in the country.
Like, I think you're on my own, but like.
Truncus is y equals 1 on x squared. And
So him. Top 20 in the country.
What?
So good.
yes, yes,
You didn't hear it.
we'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Can
We'll talk about that later.
Yes.
Did you tell him we got a question wrong?
What?
Nah.
No.
Let's learn about truncus, guys.
He
This is not
got
fun.
invited to the mathematical camp where top 20, about 25 students, I think, across the whole Australia were invited. So it's a huge. It is a huge achievement.
Now it's on video.
But let's get back to what we're doing now. And
Make him
I'm really happy for you. Yeah, but
Okay.
let's get to
Wait,
this.
then he left one.
So, what will be the asymptotes of this?
Zero.
Both x equals 0, y equals 0. Because x cannot be 0.
Because then it'd be undefined.
So we have y equals 0. And numerator never 0, so we have x equals 0. The only difference is can be x squared negative.
No.
No. So this graph will be completely
Just positive.
above.
Whoa.
Oh, that's what
And
it's
then why it's called truncus? Because it's look like a truncus of a tree. That's why it's called truncus. Trunk of the tree, truncus.
It's Lucas.
Truncus of the tree.
Why is that actually why it's called that, or is it just like a way of remembering it?
No, that's why it's called that.
It's truncated.
Did you make it?
He made.
He made the chunk.
Mr. Beezy.
As far, I think that it was actually called because of the similarity. I think I never have investigated this matter. Probably never will.
I thought you meant
It's fascinating.
I mean, it all
Oh,
takes one Google search, and then you know the answer.
Do it then.
Okay,
Yeah.
done.
Google not always give you right answer.
But generally.
Especially now when
Yes,
it's
true.
AI involved.
Yeah.
The more
Yeah.
AI
I
involved,
don't think
the
that-
less chances of get right
AI is
answer.
not involved in telling me.
Yeah, the more
AI is
answers-
Because what AI learns the first thing how to lie.
Yeah.
That's
Elon-
first thing that
Yeah.
AI learns.
Elon Musk is sabotaging
Yes.
you guys. so you
Okay,
don't know whether
shut.
we're truncated.
The word, everyone listen up. The word truncus comes from the Latin word truncus.
Wow.
Oh my god. meaning cut off or trunk.
Because it's truncated.
This makes sense because the truncus has two distinct branches and appears
Yeah,
to
so
cut off
it
at the
right,
vertical
it
axis.
comes from this. Now, guys, as all transformations with the truncus,
What happened at the end?
It comes from the word trunk.
It's not even.
all transformations are the same as with the hyperbola. So let's sketch the graph. Y equal 1 on x. No, let's do it this way. Let's do negative 1 on x minus 1 squared plus 2. What will be the asymptotes? What will be the asymptotes?
Verticals.
One.
X equals 1,
and 2, yes.
Horizontal, y equals.
x equals 1, and y equals 2. Now,
And it'll be in the third.
will end, we have negative here. What it will do with the graph, this minus?
Put it under the arm.
It flip it this way, because we change in y element. We change in y to negative, we reflect in the x.
So it's like a big graph.
And then we move it up. Let's find the intercept. X equals 0, y-intercept, what y equal?
Negative 2.
1, 2,
Oh.
3.
We have 0, so it's 1 on
One.
1, negative 1 plus 2, y equals 1.
Yay!
Negative 1.
Substitute 0,
Oh, negative 1.
negative 1 squared is 1,
I didn't see
negative 1 and 1, negative 1, plus 2, 1. Y equals 0, y equals 0, we get 1 on x minus 1 squared equals 2.
Isn't it negative 1?
No, we have negative, I'm moving it to left.
Yeah.
Comes as positive, so we have x minus 1 squared equals 1/4. Then what x equal? Oh, sorry, 1/4, 1/2. 1/2, sorry, I'm thinking one step ahead. What we need to do now?
Rationalize.
We need to square root both sides. But so we'll have x minus 1 will be equal plus or minus 1 over root 2, and get x equal 1 plus minus 1 on the root 2. And this is 1 on root 2 approximately 1.4. So it will be 5 or 7, about it will be 5 on 7, 0.7.
How did you do
No, sorry, 1 on root 2, yeah, with about 0.7.
Calculate.
So that will be those 2 points. And we had the y-intercept, we have 1. So that will be the graph of our truncus. With those points being 1 plus 1 on root 2, 0. This is 1 minus 1 on root 2, 0. And this is 0, 1. So that's how we sketch the truncus. Now, please, tomorrow, while we have working lesson, try to complete the questions which are set on Compass. It says which questions to do from the exercises and from the booklet. Okay, that's all for today. Like, subscribe, and donate to help at the moment. The most important fight is the fight Ukraine against the fascist Russia, especially when America betrayed Ukraine and all civilized world.